Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, body cam footage from the deadly Lakewood shooting released Houston police.
In our nation's capital, a U.S. airman sets himself on fire in the ultimate form of protest against the war in Gaza.
Plus, a community in mourning following the funeral of 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham.
We got up to 83 degrees today, and tomorrow another hot day. Get a load of the temperatures. While we're at 80, Laredo 99. Yikes, what's going on? We'll be talking about your next 7 days coming up in a moment.
And a Victoria East head coach getting recognized in the region. Hear from him in sports.
Watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. Tonight, the Palacios Police Department released this photo in a theft investigation. Police want to identify these two women. They're wanted in connection to a theft at Porter's Ace Hardware at 710 Main Street in Palacios. It happened around 3:30 today. The store's owner says the woman got away with $1,800 worth of tools. The woman took off in a white SUV or van. If you can help the Palacios Police Department, they want to hear from you. Call 361-972-3112. The murder trial date for Fernando Acosta Jr. in the case involving the death of Amanda Johnson is rescheduled once again. The murder trial is scheduled to start on March 21st. Acosta is accused in the murder of Amanda Johnson. Authorities recovered her body in a burned-out SUV in Matagorda County. He is charged with tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, and murder. Amanda leaves behind 2 children.
A 33-year-old suspect was arrested by Lavaca County deputies. Jesus Colunga faces 4 counts of aggravated sexual assault of a child. He is in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of $250,000 bond.
The man convicted of robbing a Victoria bank last year sentenced to federal prison Monday. Derek Taylor is sentenced to over 6 years in prison after he was convicted on 2 counts of bank robbery. Taylor was found guilty of robbing Prosperity Bank at 7001 Northeast Zacklands Parkway on February 2nd of 2023. After serving his prison time, Taylor will be under 3 years supervised released. He is also ordered to pay $2,000, $560, and restitution to Prosperity Bank.
2 suspects were arrested in Wharton County after a theft at a travel stop in Hungerford. 37-year-old Edelberto Miranda of Las Vegas and 32-year-old Jose Valdez Rivera of Houston face charges of theft of property and credit card abuse. Miranda has an active arrest warrant out of Arizona. Both are suspects in other fuel thefts in the Houston area 2 weeks ago.
Victoria police arrested 32-year-old Tony Mendez of Ganado Friday. He is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and criminal trespass. Mendez is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $52,500 bond.
Victoria Sheriff's deputies arrested a suspect wanted in Brazos County. 24-year-old Matthew Morales is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and remains in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $50,000 bond. A Port Lavaca couple was at a stoplight Friday night when they saw a car crash. 25
News Now reporter Adarius McCormick has more.
That car landed upside down in the Port Lavaca Municipal Swimming Pool. Joshua Santayana stopped his car in an effort to save a life.
So I came to the fence and then I saw the truck flipped over.
The Port Lavaca Police Department says 22-year-old Alicio David Cruz is charged with DWI. Police say he lost control of the car, hit a palm tree, hit a fence, then landed upside down in the pool.
He was there for the side of the pool, and I just ran across and I just grabbed him like this.
Santayana says his wife called 911 while he checked on the car.
He was kind of trying to swim to find the side of the pool because that's where the truck landed in the pool, and I just went over it, I grabbed him, and I held on to him from outside the pool to hold him above water.
He grabbed the man because he could not seem to find his way out of the pool. Santayana says he wanted to save the man because he'd want someone to do the same if it were him.
Just kind of put yourself in that situation, how you would want another person to react if it was, you know, your daughter or your son or something like that. Like, you'd want them to try to do as much as they could.
He says first responders made it to the scene quickly, but his fight or flight instincts kicked in. In Port Lavaca, Darius McCormick, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
Early voting in Victoria for the March 5th primary election continued Monday. The numbers from the Victoria County Election Administrator look like this. 366 people voted in person early Monday, 2,001 total votes so far. 178 mail-in votes were received Monday, a total of 871 mail-in votes so far. Early voting in the primary election continues through Friday. You can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. all days. You can vote at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro. And let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac, I'm telling you something about this weather. This is really very strange.
Unusual.
I cannot remember 80s this late in February.
Yeah. Well, all over the state, we set new records today. In fact, Dallas, Waco, and Killeen set the record for the earliest 90-degree temperature that they have had in the year. There's only 2 days in February that are even earlier. So record heat over Texas. Here's a little front that's going to help us out on Wednesday. Thursday may be in the 60s. So we'll be talking about all that coming up in a moment. Stay tuned. Lots of weather.
A small town community is heartbroken after the body of an 11-year-old girl was found in Trinity River last week.
Monday, many residents in Livingston came out to honor Audrey Cunningham during the procession to bring her body to the funeral home.
It's a small town. We all care about each other, and that's why we all came out to support her.
Members of the community could be seen gathered along U.S. Highway 190 as the body of Audrey Cunningham was transported to a funeral home in Livingston.
Things like this just really, it hurts.
The Livingston ISD school bus that Audrey was supposed to ride the day she went missing traveled along with Livingston police, fire, and Polk County Sheriff's officers to transport Audrey's body.
I have grandbabies of my own. There ain't no way I could handle it if it was one of mine.
Livingston ISD Superintendent Brent Hawkins remembers Audrey loving school, being actively involved in science, reading, and arts.
You don't see a whole lot of girls that really gravitate to science, but she was different in that respect.
Audrey is the 4th student the district has lost this school year. Though it never gets easier, Hawkins says they try to meet students and faculty where they are, with additional counselors being made available. Going forward, Cunningham's memory will live on with the Audrey Cunningham Memorial Scholarship for Livingston ISD seniors. Hawkins says it was the perfect way to honor the girl who loved school.
When Audrey's class graduates, we want this thing to continue so that we adequately honor her memory.
Don McDougal, a friend of the girl's father who lived on the family property, is charged with capital murder. Houston Police Department released video footage today showing the sequence of events of the deadly shooting at Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church February 11th. The 26-minute-long video includes security camera footage which shows 36-year-old Janice Moreno drive up in a white SUV to the west side of the building at 3700 Southwest Freeway along Timmons Lane. Moreno enters the building around 1:55 minutes before the 2 p.m. Spanish language service was scheduled to begin. She is seen wearing a trench coat and a backpack and walking into the building with her 7-year-old son, Samuel Moreno, who wore a yellow short and orange pants. The full video is too graphic and we will not show you the whole thing. KPRC reports the little boy is now breathing on his own and had a ventilator removed. A U.S. Air Force member died after setting himself on fire in protest outside the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. D.C. Metro Police say on Sunday Aaron Bushnell poured an unknown liquid on himself and ignited himself, yelling "Free Palestine." The 25-year-old from Texas eventually collapsed while police tried to put out the flames with fire extinguishers. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. Video footage shows the moment where he says he would, quote, no longer be complicit and genocide. Now, President Joe Biden is hoping for a ceasefire in the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza. The administration says a ceasefire may allow for remaining Israeli hostages held by Hamas to be released. During an event in New York today, Biden said he is hoping for the deal to be done by next Monday.
Well, I hope by the beginning of the weekend. The end of the weekend. At least my national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday we'll have a ceasefire.
The Biden administration says some issues preventing a ceasefire were resolved, such as Hamas is no longer insisting on a full withdrawal of Israeli forces and an end to the war. Alexander Smirnov will remain behind bars as he waits for his day in court. Today, the ex-FBI informant pled not guilty to charges of lying to his FBI handler and falsifying documents. The 43-year-old told lies about the Biden family's dealings with Ukraine. A Las Vegas judge previously ordered he could be set free with a tracking device until his trial. But a few days later, a federal judge authorized him to be rearrested due to concerns he might try to flee the country. Victoria County Commissioners in Precinct 3 have shown tremendous staying power in the last few decades. Since 1930, a total of 4 commissioners have served Precinct 3. Gary Burns, the current Precinct 3 commissioner, has held that seat for 20 years. Before Burns, John Hammock held the Precinct 3 seat for close to 40 years.
You know, once we get in it, we find out, you know, you can do a lot of good, and we enjoy our work. I'm sure I've talked to Hammock. Hell, I still call him once in a while for advice, but it's a rewarding job.
Burns says he will miss serving the citizens of Precinct 3. He plans to retire once a new Precinct 3 commissioner takes over the position. Bringing us to your Vera poll tonight, the question is, do you think all county officials should have term limits? Yes or no? According to our results tonight, it looks like 87% stand at yes and the remaining 13% stand at no.
We thank you for voting. And the Victoria Fire Marshal's office is undergoing some staffing changes. Fire Marshal Richard Castillo says Michael Carbajal, the department's aviation rescue fireman, will take a position outside of the area. To cover this loss, Assistant Fire Marshal Michael Frazier will take over the position. He'll still work in the front office, which is his original position. Other staff will help cover other areas as well.
To have the personnel that we have that are willing to move positions, rechange their schedules in order to meet the needs of our department.
Castillo says response time to fires and other needs will remain strong. The staffing changes will go to continue into the end of March. Will go in effect rather at the end of March.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so when you're on YouTube, you can get Crossroads Today. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. An Oklahoma State senator was caught calling one community a harsh comment during a public event.
Also ahead, a medical school in New York City becomes tuition-free thanks to a wealthy donation. Oklahoma Republican state senator referred to the LGBTQ+ community as filth during a public event last week. Audio of the event was recorded by a local newspaper there. The paper says the comments came after an audience member asked State Senator Tom Woods about legislation targeting the LGBTQ+ community.
We're a Republican state, supermajority in the House and Senate. I represent a constituency that doesn't want that filth in Oklahoma. You know, we are a religious state. We are going to fight to keep that filth out of the state of Oklahoma because we're a Christian state, we're a moral state.
When asked for comment, Woods told the Deadly Press he was standing by his comments. Over the weekend, vigils took place to honor the non-binary teen who died earlier this month. Next, Benedict's closest friends and family members gathered to remember them on Sunday. The high school sophomore was reportedly jumped by 3 other students in the girls' bathroom on February 7th. Preliminary information from an autopsy report shows their death was not a result of trauma. A toxicology exam is still pending, with an official autopsy set to be released later this month.
The retired professor of a Bronx medical school made a major donation that will ensure all current and future students earn a world-class education without paying a dime. Dr. Ruth Gottsman donated $1 billion to the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in the largest financial donation to any medical school in the country. The gift has one purpose: provide free tuition to all students. After today's announcement, students currently enrolled for a 4th year will receive a reimbursement for their spring semester tuition. Then, beginning in August, all students going forward will receive free tuition.
I'm happy to share with you that starting in August this year, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine will be tuition free.
Gottsman's tenure at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine dates back to 1968. She worked for the Children's Evaluation and Rehabilitation Center, where she developed screening tests used to help tens of thousands of children. In the 1990s, she started the Adult Literacy Program at the center and was named founding director of the Emily Fisher Landau Center for the Treatment of Learning Disabilities. The Odysseus moon lander is expected to stop communicating with Earth Tuesday. Intuitive Machines, based in Houston, says it intended to collect data until the lander's solar panels were no longer exposed to light. They believe that will happen sometime Tuesday, which is earlier than expected. It's unclear how this will affect the number of images and information the lander will send to Earth. Intuitive Machines has already released an image during its approach to the moon, but none since it's landed. We're going to get a lot of light tomorrow in Victoria, Mac?
We are going to get a lot of clouds, a little light, and that will help get us to the warm temperatures. Right now we're at 70 degrees, folks. It's not going to get much cooler than that tonight, and we managed to get up to 83 today. Not a record, but you know, the record was 89, but 71 just sounds a whole lot better, doesn't it? We are looking at a couple of warm days and then a little bit of a cool down. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everybody. Despite the clouds, you'd think we'd have, some cooler weather because the clouds are obscuring the sun. Not necessarily. High pressure is now building on top of us, something that we're going to see for a long time this summer. And Texas has set a bunch of new records for today because of the heat. Yes. These are the high temperatures today. Of course, we were at 83, but 98 down in Laredo. They're going to be near 100 tomorrow. And Killeen, of all places, Killeen set a record high of 100 degrees today. It's February. What are we going to do? Dallas didn't set a record, but they got up to 94 as well. And we are going to go on a little bit of a roller coaster. For tomorrow, we'll be up at 80 degrees, and then a front comes through, and whoa, look at that. Thursday's high temperature, only 62. But then by the time we get back to the weekend, we'll be back into the 80s. By and large, we're looking at a fairly warm springtime. And that tells me it's going to be a very hot summer. You know, last year we did 62 days over 100 degrees or 100 or above. And we're probably going to do that again. So, as they say, read 'em and weep. 99 tomorrow in Laredo. For us, we'll be in the 80s, obviously. We're closer to the Gulf Coast and we get that nice little sea breeze. But inland areas now under high pressure, already reflecting those temperatures. Now, here's that front that's going to come through very quickly on Saturday and give us 1 day of cooling, okay? We start off on Tuesday. We go to Wednesday. It starts through the Rockies. Looks like it'll be here middle of the day on Wednesday, then blows through quickly. I don't really believe there's going to be any moisture with it, so it's really more of a wind shift line. And then after that, we get a couple of nice days as we get to the weekend in the 80s. By 7 days from now, which is next Monday, long time from now, this frontal system, which is number 2, has a much better chance of actually giving us a little bit of rainfall, but that's not for 7 days. This next front, which is Wednesday, is only going to be a wind shift line. Notice the red arrows? They're going north at more than 20 miles an hour, right? Okay. So we go through Tuesday, and we go to, there's Tuesday, and watch Wednesday. Boom, blue lines moving south. That's the north wind that's coming in. And if you happen to be fishing, you should know there's a strong wind shift line, but that'll give us a 1 day break in the temperature department. So for those of you in Port Lavaca, cloudy all day with about 2-3 hours of sun in the afternoon. That'll get you to about 77. In Cuero, cloudy pretty much most of the day except for those 2 hours in the afternoon, and then that'll get you to 85. Everybody on the other side of Jim Wells County is probably going to be in the mid to upper 90s. Yes, it's a little early, okay? Now, so here's our front number 1, which knocks the temperature down a little bit on Wednesday. And Thursday, the cold wind blows. These will be northerly wind days. But then the south wind kicks in very rapidly on Friday with a little probable moisture. The weekend's good, and that second front, hopefully next week, 7 days from now, may give us a shot at some rainfall. That is your 7-day forecast. Remember, Killeen was at 100 degrees today, and that's in February 26th. We have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Now we'll toss it to Zach Brown with sports.
Thank you, Mac. The Victoria East and West ladies getting some all-district recognition. I'll have those names coming up in sports. We go in boys hoops. We still have two teams that are going at it. First up, the Edna Cowboys. They get another crack at the Cole Cougars. Cole is who eliminated the Cowboys last year. Edna trying to get some revenge. Last year, head coach Moore of Edna called Cole the standard for South Texas basketball. Will they meet again? This game will be tomorrow. It's going to be in Seguin. The other team, the Goliad Tigers, will get Santa Gertrudis tomorrow as well. Santa Gertrudis, fresh off a dominant 20-point victory. The Tigers could have their work cut out for them, but Goliad coming into this one at 30-5 on the year, looking for win number 31. Last week, we had an area coach receive quite the honor, and he brought Victoria East their first ever state championship last year. We are talking about the Region 5 Powerlifting Coach of the Week, Marcus Hernandez, who we were able to catch up with earlier this afternoon. Here he is talking about his big accomplishment.
All the hard work and all the long hours that I've been putting in, like it's kind of been showing off and I'm recognized by everybody else. I spend probably more time here than I do at home. And you know, whenever you invest in so much, it's good to see you kind of reap the benefits of what you've been putting in.
And while his team's trying to go back-to-back in state titles, his message to the guys is just to get better every week. We have a new #1 in men's college hoops, and we don't have to go far. The Houston Cougars, after their thrilling overtime victory over the Baylor Bears in Waco, are ranked #1. Their last two wins have come over #6 Iowa and #11 Baylor, and they are still undefeated at home. We have some softball rankings in the area. Some area teams, as they always do, performing very well. In Class 2A, the Ganado girls, who are off to a very fast start at 9-1, ranked #10. In Class 3A, the #3 Hallettsville girls, who are primed to make another run at a state title after being upset by Santa Gertrudis last year. And in Class 4A, we have the Cuero girls, who are also sitting at #10. We also got the Shiner girls, who will likely be ranked very soon as well. They just haven't played yet. And what a year for basketball here in Victoria. The East Titans made a deep playoff push. This is the ladies, by the way. And the West Warriors, both teams having all district selections. MVP of the district, we've got Sanaya Randall. Victoria East also had another selection in Cameron Jackson. She was 6th man of the year. And Victoria West, a young team trending in the right direction. Well, they have a nice young talent that could be a cornerstone for their future, and that is Isaiah Morgan. All right, well, congrats to all of those area girls on their big-time selections. That's it for your sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather. Plus, we prepare for National Strawberry Day. That's tomorrow. People with mental illness accused of committing minor crimes will be housed in a new facility instead of jail cells in Travis County. You can read this article by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com.
This next event was free admission. No one had to pay. The annual spring gathering of a baldness appreciation group took place in northern Japan. Members of the group who say their purpose is to light up the world with their bald heads came from all over Japan and took part in several competitions. This included guessing who the person is by just looking at their bald head. And a game of darts where cooling gel sheets are tossed at the heads. The group will also have another competition and gathering in the fall.
Cute.
The month of love is coming to its end with the delicious heart-shaped sweetness of strawberries. February 27th is National Strawberry Day. That's tomorrow. Ancient Romans believed strawberries had medicinal purposes. Strawberries contain important nutrients we need like vitamin C, folic acid, potassium, and fiber. And despite their name, strawberries are actually part of the rose family.
No.
Yes, so
That's
go
kinda
enjoy
cute.
National Strawberry Day by grabbing a pint of strawberries or two. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I'm assuming
Yeah, they're like
all of
nature's
us like
candy.
strawberries.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
You mean I could have sent strawberries to my wife instead of roses?
Well, yes.
If they were chocolate covered.
But, oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good
It
point.
was Valentine's Day.
And, you know, we've been talking about the heat. So you mentioned this earlier. Dallas-Fort Worth set a heat record today that was
94.
Yeah, 100 years old. That was 100 years old.
And Killeen, Texas was officially at 100 degrees today.
That's
in
incredible.
February.
I would like to do maneuvers at Fort Cavazos and Killeen and that.
I pity the guys, but and that's the problem that we're going to have. Another hot day tomorrow, but then, you know, it's really going to be really funny, especially up in North Texas. They're going to do a big turnaround Wednesday night when on Thursday our high is only 62 degrees and they'll be in the 40s and 50s up there. So a big change coming in this week for pretty much all of Texas as that front blows through on Wednesday.
Alrighty, thank you, Mac. On Sunday, a man and his girlfriend both competed in a Las Vegas rock and roll running series. The man crossed the finish line first and waited for his girlfriend to complete her race. And when she did, he got down on one knee and proposed. She said yes, and they exchanged a kiss, and off they go. Off they ran away. Oh, look at him. He's getting down on one knee right now.
And there's a chapel not far away, you know.
Oh.
In Vegas, really?
There's one every block.
Well, I didn't know that. How romantic. You know,
Yeah.
you're all sweaty and you're
breathing
in the
hard.
night, you know, and you've got to be head
They were on a
clear
runner's
mind
high.
to run and to propose. And so I guess they did it.
They
That's
did.
their thing.
Good job.
Alrighty.
All right, just do it.
Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join Carolina Astorine and meteorologist Parker Cox for 25 News Now. Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.